Anderson, pilot wife coach, and I'm back for part 5 of my 5-part series entitled 5 Questions to Ask Yourself to Get Through These Tough Times in the Aviation Industry. During the first 4 videos, we talked about taking control of what you can take control of. We talked about what to do with your pilot home all the time, how to take advantage of the family time that you have in part 3. In part 4, we talked about how to build relationships with people in the community. And part 5 is all about you. The question that I want to ask yourself is, what can I do to take care of myself and not just my spouse during this tough time? Listen, I understand that this is tough on our spouse. This is tough on our hubbies. If they're home because they lost their job or they're on furlough, chances are they're stressed out, they're discouraged, they're disappointed. They might even be struggling with a lack of self-worth because, their opportunity to be the income provider has been taken away from them. All of those things need to be addressed. You're there for them to rely on. You're there to help them and support them. And I think that is incredibly important during this time. But I want you to make sure that you're also taking care of yourself during this time. We all know the oxygen mask illustration, the talk that they give us when we get on the planes and the flight attendant stands up and they tell you to make sure that you put on an oxygen mask if there's a crisis on yourself before helping other people. And the reason is obvious, because if you don't have oxygen, if you can't breathe, eventually you're going to pass out and you're going to be of no use to anyone. And yet we live our lives in such a way often that we are giving and giving and giving and emptying ourselves out and just pouring ourselves out completely. And we have then eventually nothing left to give our family. Brendon Burchard is an author that talks about something called energy management. And I just love the way that he brings that up, because we have to take control of those things that feed us. So there's some basic human needs. It has to do with our, how much food we intake and what quality of food we intake and how much rest we get. And some of those basic human needs give us energy, but there's also some intangibles that feed us. And those are those things in our lives that give us joy, that give us life, those passion projects that we had. And so I want to make sure during this time, with the stress of COVID, with the stress of unemployment, that you do not lose sight of yourself. You are more than a pilot's wife. You're more than a mom. You're more than whatever your job title is. You are a complete person. And I want to make sure that you take the time to acknowledge that and to feed that with yourself. We teach people how to treat us. And if we are constantly putting ourselves last, we are subconsciously allowing them to put us at the bottom of that hierarchy. And we can only live like that for so long before we get resentful, we get angry, and we also just lose all of our gumption, all of our passion. So I want to make sure that you really tap into that. And I don't know what that looks like for you. I don't know what that passion is that you have, if it's volunteering on a nonprofit board, if it is creating art, painting a picture. Maybe it's working out or dancing or just getting together with friends. Whatever that is that feeds you, that helps you take care of yourself, I really want to encourage you to do this. Now, when I talk to people about this, the first thing that comes up is, that sounds great, I don't have any time for that. And so I want to give you a tool that I use for helping my clients make decisions about how it is that they need to spend their time. And so I'm giving that to you today so that you can think about these in the same way. And I call it the purpose scale. So if you imagine a number line from 1 to 10, you've got numbers on it, and at the end is number 1, and that's things that don't align with your purpose at all, things that don't align in your life in any way, shape, or form. If it's, we usually have those things that we know to say no to because they don't fit our skills, they don't fit our passions, whatever that is. So those would be those kind of activities that fall on that 1 scale. And then we have the 10 side of the purpose scale. The purpose scale is set up so that those are the things that we want to pursue that are aligned with our values and our passions in our life. So when you have the things on the 10 scale, those are the ones that when someone asks you, do you want to do this? And it's like been on your bucket list forever or whatever. Heck yeah, I'm going to do that. And then we have that 6, 7, 8 range. And those are the things that you commit yourself to because they're just okay. Like maybe you have a friend on the board that asks you to do this and it's just an hour a month, or no one else is going to do this, so I'll go ahead and spend time in the church nursery, or whatever it is that are things that are just okay. Like there's nothing wrong with them. They're good activities, but for you, they're really not great. Like you are fine when you get there, but maybe it's not your favorite thing to do to spend time at, and then that's in that 6, 7, 8 thing. I want to challenge you to evaluate all of the things that you're committed to spend time on right now. And the stuff that falls in that 6, 7, 8 range, ask yourself how you can get rid of those things. Those are the things that are draining your energy, and those are the things that are taking away from the 9s and 10s that you want to say yes to, but you can't because you don't have the time. So this involved just a little bit of evaluation of your life and how you spend your time. Now, I get there is going to be things on there that might be 1s or 2s that you just have no choice. I mean, for me, honestly, that's like house cleaning. Some people find house cleaning very therapeutic and very relaxing. I am not one of those people. At differing times, we've had housekeepers that we've been able to hire. Right now, that's not really an option with everything happening with COVID and reduced schedules and things like that. And that's okay. But if there's things that and maybe, helping in your kids' preschool class isn't real high on the list, but it's also something that's mandatory because it's cooperative preschool. Those aren't the things I'm talking about getting rid of. But I'm just talking about those things that are just kind of okay that you spend time doing. I just want to really encourage you to evaluate that because, again, the object here is to be able to spend more time on things that align more with your purpose, more things that give you energy, more things that help you take care of yourself better. Time is a finite resource, and so thinking about how you're going to spend it to the best of your ability is something that I want you to really consider. And I also want you to know that spending time doing things that you want to do just because you want to do them is not selfish. It's that oxygen mask that you might need in order to help your family get through the tough times, in order to support your spouse, in order to homeschool your kids or online school your kids or whatever it is that you have going on. If you don't take that time and give yourself permission to do some of those things, you're gonna fade away. And so just make sure that you are writing that into the equation when you're thinking about all of those things. So just to review the questions that we asked in this 5-part series. Number 1, what can I control in this situation? Question number 2, if my pilot is going to be home more, what does that make possible for us? Question number 3, how can we take advantage of more family time? Question number 4, what other relationships do I need to rely on in order to get through this tough time? And question number 5, what do I need to do to take care of myself and not just my spouse? If you'd like to talk more about anything covered in this series, I really encourage you to reach out to me at pilotwifecoach.com. You can fill out a contact form. Even better, you can schedule a breakthrough session with me, which is a no obligation time for us to just talk a little bit about what's going on in your life and to see if there's anything that I can do to help. I want to be here for you. I know that this is a tough time, but you, my friends, are tougher.